A couple years ago, I saw an Instagram reel, and it was of a pipe organ in this beautiful old church, very different from my perception of the pipe organ. That particular video was posted by my friend and fellow YouTuber, Jameson Nathan Jones. You know, I hear a lot of chatter online about YouTubers that aren't really musicians. And hey, if you're making YouTube videos, you're not making music, I can say without a doubt that no one would ever include Jameson. I call him Nathan, so you're gonna hear both of those. His skills are a very interesting mix of piano. He's a professional organist, and he loves and knows everything about synthesizers. And his channel, which I'm guessing most of you have watched at this point, puts all of those together. So I floated the idea of making a library. He was ready for the challenge, so I booked a flight to Laurel, Mississippi. Nathan, where are we?
Hello. I'm wearing socks and shorts, and I'm playing the organ. We're in Laurel, Mississippi at First Trinity Presbyterian Church, sampling the organ, which is a really nice organ that I play every Sunday.
How many years old is the organ?
Built in 1925, so about 100 years. But it was totally renovated in 68.
I don't know if this is the best way to make a video by you yelling 20 feet away from me.
I'll come back.
This is not my wide angle lens, so we're gonna have to sit close.
Okay, well this is a little uncomfortable.
It is a little. We probably smell, but don't look there. You know how this works.
What? Laurel. You just swallow the whole word, and that's it. Yeah. There are no syllables.
Your parents probably watch a show called Hometown, as mine do. Do your parents watch it?
No.
There's a bit of a resentment to the TV personalities in these parts. I'm picking up.
I do not know what you mean.
But we're gonna make Jameson Nathan Jones more famous than they could ever dream of being.
You can do that?
This is night number 2 of sampling. We've been talking about it for months. We still don't know what it's going to be called, but we do know that it is going to be a slightly different take than usual on the pipe organ. Do people on your channel know you as Jameson?
Sometimes.
Okay.
They call me whatever, and I respond.
You can call him Jameson or Nathan.
Billy Bob Thornton, I also respond to.
I can see that. Jameson or Nathan, one of those two guys, will talk more about what makes this organ unique and why we're even bothering to do this and why we're here and all that.
This is where it all begins. Turning a key, which turns the air on. What you're hearing in the chambers is the wind chest filling up with air. The blower kicked on downstairs, which we'll go see later. It's very noisy in here. So as you can see, what we have here is the blower. And it's just supplying a steady reservoir of air. Pull a stop, like this one for example. It's a soft flute, so that air is just sitting in the reservoir underneath the pipes, and now that rank of pipes, the flute is activated. The way this organ action works, it basically tells a little magnet to open the pipe with an electric signal. So it's an electronic action rather than a mechanical action. And as soon as you play a note, it opens that pipe. So this is the action. So these are the magnets. This little device is wired to the console, which is the keyboards or the pedals. This sends the signal and tells the magnet to open the pipe.
So where's the MIDI interface?
So I opened the shades, which if you turn around, you can see the pipes a little bit through the grates there. So that's one of the unique things about this organ is it's fully expressive, fully enclosed. A lot of organs, just the swell division or just certain parts of the organ will be put behind these shades which open and close with the pedals in the middle. But this organ, everything is behind those shades. So obviously with the organ, or maybe not obviously to everyone, but there's no velocity sensitivity. I can bang on that note as hard as I want, it's not going to get any louder. We have no means of expressivity other than changing the registration, which is which stops we're using, or gradual expression can be achieved with, which changes not only the volume, but almost acts, you know, for the synth nerds among us, like a low-pass filter, almost, where it shaves off some of the highs, you know, through physical means. And then opening and closing the shutters. Like there's an individual control for each one. You can see how it kind of jitters, and it's because it's a 16-stage motor that kind of controls the whole thing. I think this side has more stages, so they're getting better with the motors. You can see how it's a little more gradual. Not totally smooth. They replaced this motor because this shade died a few years back. So I was like, hey, my swell side, half the organ has no expression anymore. It's just closed all the time. The organ techs had to come down from Pennsylvania. Probably the only thing worse than sampling this instrument would be tuning it, because you have to go through each pipe. One person has to hold the note. The other person has to crawl around in there. And you can see it's like 2 stories. He has to crawl around in there and tap on the little collar at the top of each pipe, which controls how long or short the pipe is. And so that's how he doesn't use any kind of tuner or anything. He does it all by ear. It's kind of incredible. And then of course, the summer destroys everything. And it gets really piercing if you use the high mixtures up here. But as soon as you step off the stage and get about where I've got the mics, everything blends together really nicely. So the choir, they're sitting up here inside the organ basically, and they always complain about how they can't hear themselves. I just assure them that, like, yeah, but out there, it's gonna be fine, and it is. Why don't I miss some notes? So it does get loud.
He is a wizard on the synthesizer, so we're going to figure out a way to glue those two very different but also very similar instruments together into something that we hope you will find inspiring.
So I love starting out with just like simple, these slight harmonic movements that just kind of push and pull. And then I can build a whole track around that. These patches are inspiring me now, and I made them months, some of them a year or more ago. So I'll just spend several days making patches on one synth, going deeper into that one thing, trying to figure out new ways to use it that I don't typically use it. I'll store those patches away, and then I'll come back weeks, months later and stumble across something like that, and it makes me play in a different way. And then I find new stuff. That's been kind of my process for the last several years. Since I've gotten really into hardware, I've found that's a lot more inspiring of a way to work.
The dumbest purchase in this room, what is it?
Dumbest purchase? Sometimes I feel like the modular, like all of it. I've gone through long periods of not using it nearly enough to justify how much it cost. But then sometimes I do. And every time I do, I find it really inspiring to use.
The best purchase? What you can't live without. That's dramatic, but you know what I mean.
I'm pretty partial to the Rhodes, which was one of my first major purchases after I started making any money after releasing my own music. I can't bring my upright up here, so this is like the closest thing I have to anything that's, you know, real, quote unquote.
I feel like you could make the building explode if you did something that was not quite right.
it's possible.
Maundy Thursday, which is the service right before Good Friday, obviously, we do this thing that symbolizes like the tearing of the veil and the rolling away, or the rolling of the stone in front of the tomb. I do the strepitus, which is I play like a cluster chord on the organ, and it builds and builds and builds. And the sanctuary is completely dark. It's a really cool thing. It gets so loud, especially when I activate that and I'm playing like all the notes that I can hold down. I worry about the structural integrity of the building. It gets very, very loud. And the building is very old. Maybe it'll survive. Who knows?
I knew from the start that we didn't want to make an exact reproduction of this particular pipe organ. There are plenty of those instruments out there. We wanted to make something, and it's kind of what we do here at Somerville Sounds. We wanted to capture the essence of that instrument. At the quieter levels, we didn't go to the big over-the-top sounds, more of a kind of medium to quiet, and then take those sounds and run them through all types of processing. When we hear a sound, whether it's piano, drums, saxophones, we hear sound waves, yes, but we also attach memories and our experiences to those sounds. A felt piano makes us feel different than a huge drum kit or an orchestra in Air Studios. So when we hear the sound of a pipe organ, it carries the weight of generations. Then when you take that sound and you run it through all the pedals that you have and tape, and you run it through modular synthesizers, you can come up with something totally different, but it's still built from that same DNA. A tape effect, a tube effect, and crush. Bit crusher. This sound can be used any way you can think of using it, but it helps me to have one clear vision of how it might be used as kind of a thread, a North Star as we're making it. And I've been thinking about either a documentary or a drama from about 100 years ago. It's in the church. There's a very sacred side to it. And then there's like people getting killed. Maybe a lot of people getting killed. And with this one sound, you have the nostalgia, you have the tradition, you have the basic organ that you can use as underscores or featured, but you can go to the angelic side, the good side, or you can go to the dark, evil side. Now that's my idea, but my favorite part is hearing what you do with these sounds. If you want a more detailed walkthrough video of the Genesis pipe organ, then you'll need to watch that over on the Somerville Sounds YouTube channel. Made for the free Contact player, which means you don't need the full version of Contact. Thanks for sticking around. We've got other instruments. Go check them out. Talk soon.